We're back with Sylvester Stanley. He's running for sheriff in Bernalillo County, right? You got a pretty tough. I know you're coming through the primaries there, so
Yes, sir.
June 3rd, primaries, and then you go into the general after that, right? So far, how's your campaign going so far?
Well, so far, we think it from our eyes it's going pretty good. We've been aggressive. We've been all over the place. We've talked to a lot of many different groups of people. We've tried to be out there.
It's a pretty big county.
It's a large county, especially when you're politicking.
Exactly.
And we're trying to do a great effort in making sure we cover every spectrum. I mean, yeah, we're going to miss some parts of it, but we're trying to cover all of the county. It's very important, but it's been really good. It's hard to gauge, the people that we talk to sound very positive, and I have to go on their word, and that's the only thing you use for a gauge at this point. And I'm just hoping that will carry over, and everybody will come out and either early vote or show up to vote on the 3rd and help make me successful in the primary.
What do you think our current issues are as far as the Bernalillo County? I know, what sort of questions do you get when you're, say, knocking on doors or talking to people? What do they ask you as you're running for sheriff?
I appreciate you asking me that. I think, part of my platform is bringing trust back to the community between law enforcement and the community. And I think we, in general, in law enforcement has lost part of that. And that's what we intend to bring back. Bringing it back by promoting community-based policing. Community-based policing allow our police officers to be more in touch with the citizens of their community that they patrol. They get assigned a permanent patrol beats. They work closely with the neighborhood associations. I stand for promoting Citizens Police Academy, not trying to make the citizens a police officer, but giving them an overview of what law enforcement is about so they can spread the word to their members of the community, open it up to our county commissioners, allow them to go to those Citizens Police Academies so they'll understand, and especially budget time, so when we ask for certain equipment, but they have a little bit of understanding about what we do.
Do you think they have enough deputies currently? Do you think we need more?
Well, I think
in your opinion, do you?
Right now, I believe the Sheriff Department has approximately 300 deputies.
Do you think we need more?
Well, I think we need more.
The county is growing,
well,
right?
The county is growing, and a lot more things are happening. And I think that's a slow process. They've come a long ways since I started on the department. Yes.
Do you think the budget could afford more?
Well, and I don't know. I haven't examined the budget. I haven't looked at the budget, and that would be one of the things, I didn't want to put the cart before the horse, really start digging into the budget at this point. The first thing I have to do is win the primary election, and of course, win the general. But then that's something that you start looking at down the road.
So most of the questions that you get are safety related, like what are you going to do for this, or what do they ask? I'm curious what they ask a sheriff candidate.
For example, people will say, we don't see deputies come down our street, especially talking to some of our citizens in the East Mountains.
Public relations.
Yeah, patrol our streets. I live down this dark road. The entryway to my home is 2 miles off the main road. We never see a car down our dirt road, so they want to see more and more.
Well, what's
visibility.
the reason for that?
Well, I can't say, but the part of the problem is we have to make sure that our deputies are getting off of the main roads and patrolling those off streets visibility. But that's part of the patrol duties is to patrol the side streets and get away from the main streets and be there, talk to our people. A lot of our young officers, they don't think it's okay to get out of the car and it's okay to talk to the citizens of their beat. It's all right to stop and talk to people, have a conversation. They think that we are too much of a tunnel vision, that we've lost part of that perspective in talking to our citizens out there.
And you think that could be repaired by leadership, right? The proper leadership.
I think so. And it starts on the top because that's the directive that you hand down and you hand it down, and then your command staff enforces that, and it goes all the way to the lowest deputy on the department. Oh yeah, I think that's very easy to be done by the leadership, and that's what I'm hoping to bring to the table.
I was watching a show, and I don't mean to get off track. I was watching a show in, say, United Kingdom, watching their police department do a lot of public relations with the community, especially after a problem or problems, if you may. They go into pool halls, they go and talk to kids, they go and talk to a lot of the younger generation so that we understand that, okay, there's issues that the police department has to deal with, but there's a lot of public relations offensive there. Do you feel that, is there a reason why we are not into public relations in the Southwest or in the region or even in the state?
And again, I think some of it is probably maybe at the direction of some of our managers and leaders. But I used to direct my people to get out. We do bar checks. If you have bars, it's okay to do the bar checks and then get out. It's okay if you have a shopping center to get out of the car and walk those shopping centers and talk to the owners and see if they have concerns, see if they have problems with people loitering around their business, or if they have problem with people having property stolen, hubcaps and stuff stolen from the park. So that's part of the PR, but that's also part of the community policing, is to having a partnership with our businesses in the communities. But we have to get out and talk to those individuals.
I remember going to homeowner association meetings, and once in a while we have an APD officer come in. That was pretty valuable. They will tell us things like, well, don't do this, don't open the door for such and such.
Right.
They'll give us updated information, some of the scammers that we're walking through and stuff. Do you think the Bernalillo County, the Sheriff's Department has a role there? Or do you think that's APD or state
Well, no, I
police?
think any law enforcement agents, anytime you have homeowners, neighborhood associations, you have a role in going to those meetings, talking to the leaders of those neighborhood associations. Sometimes you might show up at one of those meetings and they don't have anything for you, but you're there if they need to ask you a question. And you're also there to even bring them stats. You know, for example, it says, in the last month, we had X number of burglaries in this neighborhood.
And we like to hear that.
And you like to hear that. You like to
Absolutely.
hear, hey, you know, the burglary ratio has gone down since our last meeting. And so all of, you know, we have a X number of speeders. You know, speeders, believe it or not, is a big complaint for citizens also, you know, that says, hey, you know what, these cars, they ought to slow them down, you know. And sometimes we have to do extra traffic enforcement.
Correct,
In some of the neighborhoods.
Do you run into, my next question is related to unincorporated areas, especially. How does that work when you, I see every now and then sheriff deputies there. Are you guys assigned there, or is it something that the APD is not allowed there? How does that work?
No, APD has a cross commission. They are able to travel through some of the city jurisdictions is through the unincorporated area, but the unincorporated area is a primary responsibility of the Sheriff Department.
Correct, because that's where I see a lot of the
And
cameras.
that's where we're assigned, that's where our primary responsibility. Granted, the Sheriff Department has responsibility all over the county, but because of the city police department, we try to stay out of the city unless it's a civil process that the Sheriff Department is involved in. We have enough calls for service in the unincorporated area,
Correct.
and that's where we want to work with our citizens as the sheriff.
APD doesn't respond to the unincorporated, right? Or they can't.
They can't.
So 911 dispatches to...
No. 911 dispatch a sheriff deputy
Okay.
out in the unincorporated area.
It automatically does that. It's not something that has
That's
to be-
correct.
Okay.
APD may end up in the unincorporated area on a follow-up investigation that originated inside the city, for example, narcotics. If they're working narcotics cases, you know, you follow the trail. They have a special cross commission given to them by the sheriff, giving them authority to be in the unincorporated area, but that's that partnership that we have with the police department and the sheriff department, and you have to have that.
There's an understanding there.
Yes, sir.
You know, if an APD is following someone, they go into an unincorporated area, naturally the sheriff's department is going to be there too, and I guess you all work together, right?
We try to have that partnership and work together after.
Because law enforcement has to change along with the population, because at one time it was just jurisdictions and you were worried about, well, that's not your jurisdiction, or that's not your... I remember hearing things like that at
well,
one time.
you know, and a part of community-based policing is a partnership. It's a partnership with all the law enforcement agencies around. In this case, it would be APD, state police. It would be the tribal police, the school police, all of those law enforcement agencies, UNM police, because we're all right here in the Metroplex, and we have to work together.
And you seem like you know a lot of things about the law enforcement. You've been in there so many years. So when we come back, take a short break, come back, we'll talk a little bit more about your background, what you would like to see as far as your campaign.
All right, thank you.
Okay? We'll take a short break. We'll be back with Sylvester Stanley.